Well, the last time this happened, I ended up.
I would be happy to suggest a discount, obviously a very modest discount. We have to protect our profit margins.
I've had many of them, actually.
You know, the last time that happened, I ended up buying a Tesla. You know?
Thank you. Mary Margaret Oldham with Daily Wire. I had a question about the UK deal today. I heard there was talk that part of the agreement would depend on whether the UK would respect free speech and freedom of religion. I know the VP is really interested in that, talked about that earlier this year. Was there any assurances that you guys got on that front?
You want to handle that?
Yeah, that was not part of the conversation. Our conversation was an economic conversation from start to finish, closed by the president yesterday. This was a business deal, open their markets and also protect their workers, grow our markets and help our workers.
This was about business religion. You know, business is a sort of semi-religion, but not nearly as important. I don't want to get myself in.
Mr. President, will you be asking China to help you close, the gap between Ukraine and Russia?
I think so, yeah. I think it's a natural thing to ask.
What do you expect?
Sure. I don't know. I think we're making good progress. The fighting is a little bit different than it was. I think if we weren't involved, Russia would be, going at it to maybe get the whole thing. And without our involvement, they'd be able to get it because we supplied a lot of different things foolishly. But we've been sort of paid back by doing the rare earth deal that I talked about before. I think that I think that we will be very much involved in trying to get that bloodbath. It's a bloodbath. It's a horrible situation. 5,000. It's really more than that. But it's 5,000 soldiers on average a week, mostly soldiers, are being killed. Young, beautiful people. I mean, they're being killed. I see the satellite pictures coming back, body parts lying all over fields, heads and arms. It's so terrible. I've never seen anything like it, actually. And if we can get that stopped, that will be a great accomplishment. And we're trying very hard. And I think we're close. And Mr. Witkoff is talking constantly back and forth. He's a real professional. He's got a great relationship with both countries. And I think we have a good chance. And likewise, we're trying to work on Iran to get that solved without having to get into any bombing, as we say, big bombing. I don't want to do that. I want them to work. I want them to be very successful.
Mr. President, Edward Lawrence from Fox Business. On the non-market barriers, how did you get the UK to bend? And what was the 11th hour deal or ask?
Well, I think it was really just a part of the overall. I mean, they have so many things that are so good for them. It's going to be so good for the country. And that was sort of easy. It wasn't, we had non-market, I call it non-market or non-monetary trade barriers. And we had quite a few of them, not nearly as bad as some countries. Some countries have, they have virtually no tariff, but the rest of it is so brutal you can't do business with them, right? So it's a very important question, actually. No, I think the overall deal just worked out very well from their standpoint. They were willing to give that in order to get other things. And you might want to speak to that, Mr. Abbas.
Look, the point about the deal is that we will continue reducing tariffs and non-tariff barriers. This is a continuing picture. It's a movie. It's not a still picture here. It's a movie. Yeah. It continues. And we're both committed to freeing up trade between our countries. We're both committed to freeing up investment between our countries. And the point about this deal is that it provides a very good template and a very good launch pad for what we can continue to do and build on in the future. And that's what we're both determined to do.
Many of the, well, we're going to say, many of the, we'll keep it confidential. How about just one more little thing, right? It got the deal closed, and it was handled very well from the other side, too. But many of these things that we're talking about, we've been talking about this for 25 years. It's hard to explain when, if you weren't sitting behind this beautiful Resolute desk, you just wouldn't get it. I have been hearing about making a deal with UK for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And especially around the time of Brexit. They wanted to make a deal, so they came out of Brexit and they make a deal, and how natural. And it just couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. Good people. And this is a bigger deal. This is a much bigger, better, stronger deal for both of us than we ever even contemplated before. It's a big deal.
Virtually everyone said that it would end in failure, it would end in tears, and it's ended in exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
But, Mr. President, can I say that that is due to Secretary Lutnick and Ambassador Greer, who've been absolutely fantastic. But
Right.
yesterday I received a call, a very diplomatic call that just edged things over the line, and that was from your new ambassador in the United Kingdom.
Who is terrific. Right?
Warren Stevens, he's here.
Where is Warren? Hello, Warren.
He's flying to London tomorrow night. He's going to be very popular with the British people. He's going to be a very successful ambassador.
And,
Were you disappointed?
and he's got plenty of cash. That guy's plenty of cash.
We need some more big spenders.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you planning to meet Ursula von der Leyen?
You're going to go ahead fast.
Yeah, are you planning to meet Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Council anytime soon?
Oh, she's so fantastic, right? She's so fantastic. I hope we're going to meet. Yeah, the answer is yes. I saw her a few days ago.
How much
And I think that we'll definitely meet, yeah. The European Union's big thing. They want to make a deal very badly. You know, everybody wants to make a deal. Look, everybody wants to make a deal with the United States, and we're doing that, and we're going to make fair deals. I'm just honored that this was the first one. Go ahead, please.
The Federal Reserve Chairman, Mr. President, says that you would have to call him for a meeting. You plan to meet on with him. And what do you think about him? And
It's
what
like talking to a wall. He should
what do
be,
you think about not cutting? The Bank of England cut today.
well, the Bank of England cut, China cut, everybody's cutting but him. It's, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's a shame. I call him Too Late, Too Late Powell, that's his nickname. And it's a shame, it's ridiculous. So meeting, he's always too late. But in this case, it's not going to matter that much because our country is so strong. We're so powerful in terms of economic strength and what we've done. And I'll tell you what, if we didn't have our first term, you wouldn't be. We created things in the first term. We cut more regulations than any president in history. We cut the taxes more than anybody in history. And a very big factor is going to be the tax bill that we have right now, the one big beautiful bill, as we call it, which is all encompassing, the biggest tax cuts ever in history, bigger than even the first time. And the incentives, even great for the UK, because it'll make us so strong that we're going to be doing more business with you. It's a very important element for taxes, for every aspect, regulation cuts. That bill is, I believe it's the biggest bill of its kind ever in the history of this country. And Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune have done an incredible job. I mean, I'll let you know, we have to get a vote, but we have a lot of support for that bill. And if that happens on top of all of these trade deals that we're doing, this country will hit a point that you better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. If we get that, if you don't, and the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. If it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. Welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. It's terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So very, very important element of everything, of what we're doing, unrelated to today, but related in the sense that we'll do, if that passes, we'll do even more business with the UK. We'll have so much. It's the biggest tax cut in history. It's going to make our country zoom. It's going to be incentive, as you know, with the deduction for basically for work. You work, you build, you plant, et cetera, your deduction. It's going to be the biggest, it's the biggest bill of its kind ever passed, maybe the biggest bill ever passed. That's why we call it the one big, beautiful bill.
You just announced a new nominee for the U.S. Surgeon General who never finished her residency.
and is not a practicing physician. So can you explain why you picked her to
Well,
be
she's a-
America's
yeah,
top doctor?
because Bobby thought she was fantastic. She's she's a brilliant woman who went through Stanford. And as I understand it, she basically wanted to be an academic as opposed to a surgeon. I think she graduated first in her class at Stanford. And Bobby really thought she was great. I don't know her. I listened to the recommendation of Bobby. I met her yesterday and once before. She's a very outstanding person, a great academic, actually. So I think she'll be great.
I know, Mr. President, your nominee for U.S. Attorney of D.C. Do you have a backup plan if this Senate
Oh, I do,
does
yeah,
not?
but he's a terrific person, and he wasn't getting the support from people that I thought. You know, he's done a very good job. Crime is down 25% in D.C. During his period of time. I'm very disappointed in that, but I have so many different things that I'm doing now with the trade. You know, I'm one person. I can only I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day. But we have somebody else that will be great. I just want to say Ed is unbelievable, and hopefully we can bring him into whether it's DOJ or whatever in some capacity, because really outstanding. To me, it was disappointing, I'll be honest. I have to be straight. I was disappointed. A lot of people were disappointed, but that's the way it works sometimes, you know, that's the way it works. And he wasn't rejected, but we felt it would be hard. And we have somebody else that we'll be announcing over the next 2 days who's going to be great.
With companies like Ford and Mattel recently saying they're going to raise prices on certain products, how long do you think the American public is going to be patient? And
Yeah,
wait for you?
well, I think they're saying that just to try and negotiate deals with me. They're not. Look, tariffs are the most misunderstood thing maybe in any form of business, anywhere in business. Oftentimes the country picks them up. Oftentimes the company picks it up. The people don't pick it up. Okay, the people don't pick it up. And if Ford did that, they wouldn't sell any cars. And if Mattel, I don't know, I'm not so sure. They also said they're the only country I've heard. They said, well, we're going to go counter. We're going to try going someplace else. That's okay. Let him go, and we'll put 100% tariff on his toys, and he won't sell one toy in the United States, and that's their biggest market. I heard that. I mean, I watched this guy talking about how I'm going to go counter. I said, well, I wouldn't want to have him as an executive too long. The Ford people I know very well, what they're doing is negotiating with us by saying that. But we don't think that's going to happen. Look, I put out a truth today, and it said that gas is down, gasoline is down, energy is down, groceries are down, eggs are down. I mean, eggs, thank you very much, but eggs are down. When I came in the first week, you guys hit me with eggs. I said, what the hell happened with eggs? Eggs were up like 170% and going up, and they said, don't order any for Easter. And we were thinking about ordering plastic eggs like everybody was doing. And Brooke did a fantastic job, agriculture. Brooke did a fantastic job. And we had hundreds of thousands of eggs out here on the lawn just 2 weeks ago at Easter. But you take a look at the cost. Energy's down. Even interest rates are down. Now, if the chairman of the Fed, Jerome, if he would lower interest rates like China did, like I think UK did, but like numerous other countries have done, it's like jet fuel. It'd be great. But he doesn't want to do it. I think he doesn't want to do it. Probably he's not in love with me. I think that's right. It's sort of a crazy reason, but that's the way life is. Anybody in his position would be like jet fuel. But even without that, we're doing well. But remember this, you know, I've watched you people reporting over the last few months that if we do this, prices are going to go through. Well, groceries are down. All of this stuff is down. Lumber is down. Oil is gone to, I mean, we have that thing broke 60, right? $60 a barrel. And $1.98, $1.99 in some cases, and heading in that direction. No, I think it's been amazing, actually. You know, and what that's good for, it gives the consumer more money, and it gives them a better life, because we just came out of the worst inflation, in my opinion, in the history of our country. They say 48 years. But Biden really screwed it up. He screwed up energy, and he spent too much money. He was spending it on, Green New Scam. And that's like throwing the money. See that beautiful window behind? money, throw it right out that window, because it's the same thing. He spent $10 trillion. He wasted it. Not only was it bad, it was a negative. It wasn't even like it helped a little bit. It was a real negative. And then on top of it, they let 21 million people into our country without any identification, anything, just let them in. It's very, very sad. Well, we'll do one or two more. Go ahead. Who are you with?
I'm with the Daily Telegraph. Now, you know me from
Yep, I do.
How concerned are you about the UK's reliance on China? Chinese money in the money markets, Chinese exports?
We're not concerned.
Is that something that came up in
Honestly,
discussions?
I'm not concerned about anything. If I was, I wouldn't even be here right now. If I was concerned about anything, and it wouldn't be that, but I wouldn't be here right now. No, we're not concerned. We're going to have, I believe, a very good relationship with China and a fair relationship, and it'll get bigger and it'll grow. It'll grow. As an example, if they open up the country, that'll be the best thing China ever did for itself. They don't know that yet because, it's been a different system. But that'll be the greatest thing that ever happened to China. The people will be happier. They'll buy for less. They'll see things that they never saw before, and they'll be buying them. And it'll really create great long-term peace.
And if I could ask one of the Agriculture Secretary, actually, there's a lot of concern about chlorinated chicken, the import of hormone treated beef. Has that question been addressed, resolved in these talks, or is that something for the continuing negotiations?
Well, James.
I would just say that it's very clear, and we have in the heads of terms that we are going to discuss all of these types of issues, and obviously the importing country, whether it's us or them, you got to follow the rules on those types of things. But our point is the rules need to make sure that they are based on science, and that's our expectation. We know the UK believes that too, so we want to come to an accommodation. We want the consumers in each country to be able to choose what they want and give them the information that they want.
We have an incredible EPA led by Administrator Zeldin that is on this. So the talks continue, but we are very, very confident in our products, and what the president has done to open up the markets is unprecedented for these farmers here in America. Thank you.
Wall Street as they watched this. You saw the stock market decline sharply after Liberation Day, and it's rallied back since then.
Well, now it's going to really rally because, don't forget, they said this is all a pipe dream. And this is a tough one. This is, somebody would say, well, this is easy. This is much tougher, I think, than any other deal because they've been at it for so many years, decades, trying to make this deal. And it's very conclusive and it's a great deal. And it's a very big deal, actually. And no, this is just the beginning. We're going to be having conferences or at some point we won't have, we just put out a statement that we just signed this country, that country. And after a number of these are done, nobody has enough people to do it. We're just going to put out X country is going to pay this. And if they open up, they're going to do this and that and that. And they're going to be open up. Everybody wants to be here. I say this is where they want to be shopping. They want to shop in this country because we have the consumer. And we have the consumer like nobody else. And, if this country went bad, the whole world would go bad. But we really saved it from going bad. Yeah, please.
So can I ask you about the air traffic control issue? Are you looking at getting new software?
I'm glad you asked me about it because I'm just going to be talking to now with the heads of the airlines and everything else. So I was all set before we had the rigged election to give out a brand new gorgeous system to one company that was going to do the whole thing, one of the best companies in the world that you know very well. There are 3 or 4 of them that do it. And when they took over, Buttigieg, who has no clue, he drives to work on his bicycle with his, in all fairness, with his husband on the back, which is a nice, loving relationship. But he didn't have a clue. This guy didn't have a clue. And he's actually a contender for president. Between him and Crockett, you can have that party. But he didn't know what he was doing. And he took what they call dry systems where you have wires in the earth, buried in the earth or whatever. And then you have the open air systems where you have satellites, and you can't mesh them. Anybody would know that if you went through about 2 months of study in school, if you studied that kind of thing. And he did. They spent tens of billions of dollars trying to take old, broken equipment and merging it into existing new equipment with brand new equipment. It's one of the greatest. They spent like $40 billion. And what they did is they made it worse. because it doesn't work together. You can't make it work together. If you have a satellite system, you need satellite. If you don't, they had all these different technologies, some of them 50 years old, and they're trying to mesh them in. And they end up spending twice the money they should have. You could have bought a whole new system. So we have a very good guy who you all know, Sean Duffy, is head of transportation. And I've given him a 10-minute lesson in buying, and he's become really good. And we are now in the market to buy a gorgeous, brand new system. The helicopter that crashed into the plane at 400 feet, it shouldn't have been. What would have happened is all sorts of bells and sirens would have been going off 3 minutes before that accident happened, if you had the right equipment, but they didn't. And the new equipment is unbelievable what it does. You can have, you don't even, well, I was going to say something, but you always, in my opinion, you always need pilots. I want pilots, but you wouldn't even have to have pilots. This system is so incredible what they can do, but we have a system that's obsolete. And what they did is the worst. They tried to combine the really old, broken stuff with the new stuff, and you can't combine it, and anybody should have known. So Biden, do you think Biden figured this out? I don't think so, fellas. Do you think he has any clue? He doesn't know what the hell's happening. So here's the story. We're going to be buying a brand new, it's going out to bid very soon, brand new state-of-the-art system that will cover the entire world. I'll give you an example. When my pilot, now I have military pilots, but prior to that, I have very good pilots, great pilots. They would land, and I won't tell you which country, but they would use the system of another country. They wouldn't even use the system of the United States. So if I'm landing in New York or Florida or Tennessee, they're using a system from another country. I said, why is that? And they were, you know, they're not into business, but they're just saying, our system doesn't work, sir. And I said, boy, that's pretty sad. But we were all set to give it out to, you know, look, you have a Raytheon and you have different companies like that, numerous companies. And you have companies that would do it, like an IBM, as an example. And you give out one deal, one contract. They gave out hundreds of contractors. They had diggers. They had non-diggers. They had people that focused on satellites. They had hundreds of different contracts. One contract where one guy is controlling everything. If you need a trench, then they dig a trench. But if you don't dig the trench, they don't blame you. What happens is you don't dig it, then they say, we want a cost overrun. Now, we have it all set, and we're going to be doing it. We would have done it, except that the election took a little strange turn. But the second one didn't. That was too big to rig. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Hasta aquí ha llegado esta comparecencia, este anuncio histórico del presidente de Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, anunciando el primer gran acuerdo comercial con Reino Unido. Se habla de más de 6.000 millones, ha tenido para todos. Hablaba de conversaciones con China, de que se pueden rebajar los aranceles. También hablaba sobre Ucrania. Dice que podría utilizar a China para mediar con Rusia. También hablaba sobre Europa. Dice que quiere reunirse con Ursula von der Leyen y que además le gustaría hacer un tratado con Europa. De momento, el tratado, el acuerdo firmado, anunciado, ha sido con Reino Unido. Vamos a conocer los detalles, los pormenores, cómo es la balanza entre Estados Unidos y Reino Unido. Alma Navarro, cuéntanos cómo de justo es este acuerdo y también cómo es la balanza entre ambos países.
Muy buenas tardes, Sergio. Vamos a ver en primer lugar las características más concretas del acuerdo. Un acuerdo que tiene el foco sobre todo en el sector del acero y en el sector de la automoción por parte de Estados Unidos y que pone el foco en la carne de res norteamericana de cara al Reino Unido. Vamos a ir por partes. Es un acuerdo temporal de carácter general con una duración inicial de 12 meses. Ha dicho Donald Trump que es definitivo. Lo cierto es que de ese acuerdo general podrán sacarse más acuerdos concretos porque han dicho las partes que el acuerdo no ha terminado aquí, que estas son las bases que se han puesto sobre la mesa. Lo más importante del acuerdo, que Trump reduce los aranceles a los coches fabricados en el Reino Unido al 10%. Hay que recordar que el arancel general a la automoción es del 25%. ¿Qué marcas se van a ver beneficiados por esta reducción arancelaria? Pues, por ejemplo, Range Rover, que es una marca británica, que podrá vender sus coches al Reino Unido con un 10% de arancel. A cambio, pues, por ejemplo, Estados Unidos va a vender aviones Boeing al Reino Unido. A cambio, Reino Unido reduce a cero los aranceles a la carne estadounidense y también al etanol. Y otra de las grandes claves del acuerdo tiene que ver con el acero, porque los aranceles al acero se van a reducir a cero de forma mutua, eso sí, sujetos a un cupo anual. Lo que han dicho desde Estados Unidos es que el arancel general del 10% que Estados Unidos mantiene a todos los países se va a mantener y que gracias a ese arancel del 10%, que coincide con el arancel a la automoción, va a conseguir recaudar Estados Unidos 6.000 millones de dólares al año. Por eso dice Donald Trump que es un gran acuerdo, porque van a conseguir esa cantidad de dinero al año procedente de Estados Unidos. Esto en torno al acuerdo que, ya digo, han dicho las partes que se tiene que ir concretando y ampliando a otros sectores, pues como por ejemplo han dicho que puede haber colaboración en la industria farmacéutica. Más allá del acuerdo, vamos a ver cómo es la balanza comercial actual entre el Reino Unido y Estados Unidos. Les contamos que en general la balanza comercial es negativa para el Reino Unido, es decir, el Reino Unido importa más que exporta de Estados Unidos, pero ojo, porque el Reino Unido vende a Estados Unidos servicios de un alto valor. Y ahí es donde está la clave de las dudas de quién gana y quién pierde en las relaciones comerciales entre Estados Unidos y el Reino Unido. ¿Qué exporta el Reino Unido a Estados Unidos? Lo acabamos de decir, fármacos, también automóviles como los Range Rover, servicios financieros, bebidas alcohólicas y maquinaria industrial. ¿Y qué vende Estados Unidos al Reino Unido? Pues también se ha tratado en el acuerdo. Aviones, Boeing le va a vender más cosas al Reino Unido a partir de ahora, software y tecnología, productos agrícolas como esa carne de res que quieren vender en mejores condiciones, combustibles y gas y equipos médicos. Un dato clave, Estados Unidos es el principal socio comercial unitario del Reino Unido y Reino Unido es uno de los 5 principales socios comerciales europeos de Estados Unidos. Más cosas, la relación estratégica actualmente se basa mucho en cooperación en sectores como el de la tecnología y el de la defensa. También lo ha dicho el presidente de Estados Unidos. Decía que esa gran relación comercial tiene que enfocarse a fortalecer sus relaciones en defensa. Y la gran pregunta que ponemos sobre la mesa en este momento es ¿quién gana más actualmente en la relación comercial que tienen Estados Unidos y el Reino Unido? Porque Estados Unidos exporta más al Reino Unido, pero como decimos, los productos que el Reino Unido le vende a Donald Trump tienen un mayor valor añadido. Parece que en medio de esta balanza comercial, de momento lo que reina es el acuerdo del que las dos partes dicen que salen beneficiadas. Sergio.
Bueno, pues sí, atentos a este acuerdo comercial. Muchísimas gracias, Alma, por estos detalles. Nosotros vamos a ir con las noticias del día. Les contábamos antes estas explosiones en Jammu. Se hablaba de posibles ataques con drones. Enseguida vamos con la última hora. Al parecer, Pakistán estaría atacando en estos momentos. Comenzamos las noticias del día en Negocios Televisión. Muy buenas tardes, bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios Televisión, bienvenidos a este espacio de las noticias del día, mirando a la última hora, pendientes de las tensiones entre India y Pakistán, un día marcado por el anuncio comercial de Estados Unidos, Donald Trump y su acuerdo con Reino Unido, mirando ya el desfile del Día de la Victoria, mañana en Moscú con Putin y con Xi, mandando mensajes a Donald Trump, pero los ojos de todo el mundo están puestos en India y en Pakistán. Les contábamos hace escasos minutos que se estaban observando destellos rojos y proyectiles en el cielo nocturno sobre la ciudad de Jammu, en la Cachemira, India. Es lo que apuntaban varios testigos según la agencia Reuters. Ojo, porque tenemos más información. Se siguen escuchando múltiples explosiones y sirenas en la ciudad de Jammu, según testigos. Funcionarios de Estados Unidos dicen que aviones J-10 de fabricación china de Pakistán están derribando aviones indios, según informan en las últimas horas. Drones pakistaníes estarían atacando a Nur, Samba y Kazua en la Cachemira administrada por la India. Es lo que revela la agencia Reuters vía Al Jazeera. Se están reportando cortes de electricidad en toda la región. Alerta en India. Se habla de explosiones y de sirenas en la ciudad de Jammu. Precisamente mirando a esta última hora, este posible ataque por parte de Pakistán con explosiones, sacudiendo este jueves la ciudad de Jammu, en la Cachemira, administrada por la India. Es lo que apuntan informes de los medios locales, lo que marca una escalada significativa en el conflicto en curso entre India y Pakistán. Portavoces del ejército indio están confirmando a la CNN que se han escuchado fuertes explosiones. Se ha impuesto un apagón. Mientras las autoridades evalúan la situación, el jefe de la policía de Jammu y Cachemira, Hezbollah, ha descrito los sonidos como presuntos impactos de misiles o artillería. En las redes sociales se han compartido vídeos que parecen mostrar misiles impactando en la zona, pendientes de este posible ataque de Pakistán. Mientras están viendo esta imagen en sus pantallas, fumata blanca. Estábamos esperando precisamente este momento, estábamos esperando esta cita, esta última hora. Estábamos después de 2 negociaciones, después de 2 votaciones. A la tercera es la vencida. Fumata blanca ahora mismo mirando a la plaza de San Pedro. Están viendo, bueno, pues a los seguidores totalmente emocionados. A la tercera ha ido la vencida. Estamos a la espera de conocer más detalles. Se espera que el decano Giovanni Bautista dé más detalles en los próximos minutos. Es desde luego la noticia. Todos los ojos están clavados en esta chimenea que ven en sus pantallas. Ven a la gente saltando, totalmente emocionados por esta noticia. La plaza de San Pedro está ahora mismo pues a la espera de conocer más detalles. Es bueno, la imagen que todo el mundo estaba esperando. Los cardenales por fin se han puesto de acuerdo. Fumata blanca a la tercera votación. Estamos a la espera, como decimos, de conocer más detalles sobre quién va a ser el próximo papa. De momento, fumata blanca. Estamos atentos a la señal desde el Vaticano. Atentos a la señal desde el Vaticano, están viendo los posibles papables. Después de la fumata blanca, a la quinta votación ha ido la vencida. Hemos tenido 2 fumatas negras. Ahora por fin tenemos fumata blanca. A la espera de conocer más detalles, los cardenales por fin se han puesto de acuerdo. Estos son los nombres que se están barajando: Luis Antonio Tagle, Pietro Parolin. También se habla de Pier Battista Pisavilca y Robert Sarà. Son los principales papables, son bueno, los nombres que están sobrevolando ahora mismo la plaza de San Pedro. Estaban viendo a los seguidores totalmente emocionados. Esta fumata blanca de la que ya habla todo el mundo. Los ojos están clavados en la Basílica de San Pedro. Estamos a la espera de conocer más detalles de esta fumata blanca, a la espera de conocer cuál es el nombre. Estos son ahora mismo los principales favoritos. Se hablaba mucho de Robert Sarà, sobre todo después de la muerte del Papa Francisco. Se habla mucho en las últimas horas de Pietro Parolin. Estos 4 hombres, estos 4 nombres que están viendo en sus pantallas son los principales favoritos para suceder al Papa Francisco. Seguimos atentos a la señal, también a la última hora, enseguida también con programación especial, dando cuenta, explicándoles todos los detalles. Esta es la imagen desde la plaza de San Pedro. Nosotros seguimos con la información. Con los ojos de todo el mundo clavados en la plaza de San Pedro a la espera de últimas horas, en este sentido, como os decimos enseguida, comenzamos programación especial. Vamos a seguir con las noticias del día, con el foco puesto en la tensión entre India y Pakistán, después de que India afirmara haber atacado este jueves radares y sistemas de defensa aérea en varios puntos de Pakistán en represalia por los intentos pakistaníes de atacar varios objetivos militares en el norte y el oeste de India durante la noche. Esta mañana las Fuerzas Armadas de la India atacaron radares y sistemas de defensa aérea en varios puntos de Pakistán. La respuesta ha sido similar y con la misma intensidad que la de Pakistán. Se ha sabido, además, fehacientemente que un sistema de defensa aérea en Lahore ha sido neutralizado. Es lo que informa en un comunicado el Ministerio de Defensa de la India. El ejército pakistaní anunció este jueves que había derribado hasta ahora 25 drones de fabricación israelí enviados por la India el día siguiente del enfrentamiento militar más violento entre ambos países en 2 décadas. Mientras tanto, el ministro de Defensa de la India ha elogiado a las Fuerzas Armadas por la inimaginable precisión de la operación Sindor, en la que una serie de ataques con misiles dirigidos destruyeron 9 presuntos campamentos terroristas en Pakistán y Cachemira, administrada por Pakistán. Hablando en un evento público este jueves, Rajnath Singh dijo que los ataques eliminaron un gran número de militantes y se llevaron a cabo con daños colaterales mínimos. La precisión con la que se ejecutó la operación Sindor es inimaginable y sumamente encomiable. Afirmaban que 9 campamentos terroristas fueron destruidos y muchos terroristas fueron abatidos. La operación evitó bajas civiles y minimizó los daños colaterales. El ejército indio lanzó los ataques en la mañana del miércoles en respuesta a los hombres armados que mataron a 26 personas, en su mayoría turistas hundidos en Cachemira el mes pasado, algo que Delhi atribuyó a militantes con base en Pakistán. Mientras tanto, el primer ministro pakistaní Shehbaz Sharif ha asegurado este jueves al secretario de Estado de Estados Unidos, Marco Rubio, que Pakistán defenderá su soberanía a toda costa durante una conversación telefónica en el marco de la escalada de tensión con la India. El primer ministro reafirmó la firme determinación de Pakistán de defender su soberanía e integridad territorial a toda costa, es lo que informaba en un comunicado la oficina del primer ministro pakistaní. Sharif también transmitió a Rubio que Pakistán tenía el derecho a actuar en legítima defensa en respuesta a los ataques aéreos de la India de ayer, en los que, según Islamabad, murieron 31 civiles y 57 resultaron heridos. Los ataques de la India violaron la soberanía e integridad territorial de Pakistán, poniendo en grave peligro la paz y la estabilidad en la región del sur de Asia, es lo que se lee en el comunicado. Mientras tanto, Pakistán ha acusado a la India de una grave provocación después de que su vecino lanzara más de 2 docenas de drones a través de la frontera esta mañana. Menos 25 drones Harop de fabricación israelí fueron derribados en varios lugares, incluidas las 2 ciudades más grandes de Karachi y Lahore, así como instalaciones militares. Siguen enviándose drones indios al espacio aéreo de Pakistán y seguirá pagando un alto precio por esta agresión descarada, es lo que afirmaba el portavoz militar, añadiendo que es una provocación grave y que un civil murió mientras 4 soldados pakistaníes resultaron heridos. Mientras tanto, el consulado de Estados Unidos en Lahore, en el este de Pakistán, ha pedido a su personal diplomático y a los ciudadanos estadounidenses que permanecen en esta ciudad que busquen un refugio seguro tras los bombardeos indios sobre la defensa aérea pakistaní que afectaron a esta urbe debido a los informes de explosiones de drones derribados y posibles incursiones en el espacio aéreo en Lahore y sus alrededores. El Consulado General de Estados Unidos en Lahore ha ordenado en un comunicado a todo su personal que se refugie en el lugar. También ha recomendado buscar un refugio seguro al conjunto de la ciudadanía de Estados Unidos que reside en la ciudad, la segunda más poblada de Pakistán y situada cerca de la frontera con India. Mientras tanto, China, su Ministerio de Asuntos Exteriores, ha negado que sus aviones de combate participaran en los letales ataques con misiles de la India contra Pakistán este miércoles. El ministerio dijo este jueves que no estaba familiarizado con el asunto cuando se le preguntó si estaban involucrados aviones chinos. Irán, por su parte, el ministro de Asuntos Exteriores, Abbas Araghchi, ha pedido este jueves a Pakistán y a Nueva Delhi que muestren moderación para evitar mayores tensiones tras los ataques aéreos indios en varias localidades pakistaníes. Decía, esperamos que ambas partes muestren moderación para evitar mayores tensiones. Nuestra región necesita calma, es lo que apuntaba Araghchi a los medios iraníes a su llegada a la capital india, donde se espera que cumpla un papel de mediador. El jefe de la diplomacia iraní visitó también Islamabad esta semana tras un ofrecimiento de mediar en la crisis desatada tras el ataque terrorista del pasado 22 de abril en la Cachemira administrada por India. El presidente de Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, ha declarado este jueves que los aranceles a China, que actualmente se sitúan en el 145%, no pueden ser mayores. Añadía que es posible que los gravámenes se reduzcan a partir de esta cifra. Representantes de ambos países se reunirán a finales de esta semana en Suiza para tratar cuestiones comerciales. Decía Trump, creo que vamos a tener una muy buena relación. Siempre me llevé muy bien con Xi Jinping. Esa relación se vio gravemente afectada por la COVID, pero ahora nos llevamos muy bien. Es lo que comentaba ante la Casa Blanca, añadiendo que cree que las negociaciones del sábado irán bien y serán muy sustanciales. Mientras tanto, hablando de la Unión Europea, el jefe de Estado de Estados Unidos ha reiterado que Washington desea alcanzar un acuerdo comercial con el bloque. Según informaciones de prensa, la Unión Europea podría potencialmente poner como objetivo importaciones estadounidenses por valor de 95.000 millones de euros si fracasan las negociaciones. El presidente de Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, anunciaba hace escasos minutos un nuevo acuerdo comercial con Reino Unido, calificándolo de completo e integral, el primero de una serie de acuerdos importantes. Hablando desde la oficina Oval, junto al vicepresidente J.D. Vance, hablaba de un acuerdo histórico con Reino Unido. Lo escuchamos.
Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks. With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade. The deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for American exports, especially in agriculture, dramatically increasing access for American beef, ethanol, and virtually all of the products produced by our great farmers. And our Secretary, as you know, of Agriculture is here. Brooke, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, sir.
You'll let the farmers know. In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products. But this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries because it'll be...
Trump ha celebrado este acuerdo como un hito en las relaciones transatlánticas, señalando que se produce 80 años después de que las naciones ganaran la guerra juntas. El presidente Trump ha enfatizado que la administración participa en numerosas negociaciones, afirmando que la reciprocidad y la justicia son valores esenciales en el mundo actual. El presidente de Estados Unidos, que también ha criticado este jueves al presidente de la Reserva Federal, dice que Jerome Powell es un tonto que no tiene ni idea después de que el Banco Central decidiera no bajar su tasa de interés clave. Decía, aparte de eso, me gusta mucho, petróleo y energía a la baja, casi todos los costes de los alimentos y huevos a la baja, virtualmente no hay inflación, el dinero de los aranceles fluye hacia los Estados Unidos, todo lo opuesto a demasiado tarde. Así se refiere de nuevo a un Jerome Powell al que volvía atacar en los últimos minutos en esta comparecencia, en este gran anuncio del acuerdo comercial con Reino Unido. Decía que Powell va demasiado tarde, que China está recortando los tipos, que Reino Unido está recortando los tipos, pero que hablar con Powell es como hablar con un muro. Precisamente miramos a Powell, miramos al presidente de la Reserva Federal. Ayer le preguntaban si iba a reunirse con Donald Trump y decía que ese no es su trabajo, que no es cuestión de la Reserva Federal. Escuchamos a Jerome Powell.
Nunca he pedido ninguna reunión con ningún presidente, nunca lo haré. No tengo ninguna necesidad de pedirle a ningún presidente que se reúna conmigo, siempre va al revés. Nunca es una iniciativa que tome yo. No creo que un presidente de la Reserva Federal tenga que buscar una reunión con un presidente. Quizá algunos lo han hecho, pero siempre funciona al revés. Son los presidentes los que piden una reunión.
Mientras tanto, Estados Unidos ha transferido varios bombarderos estratégicos subsónicos de largo alcance Boeing B-52 Stratofortress a su base aérea de la isla Diego García, ubicada en el Océano Índico. Es lo que informa este miércoles Air and Sports Forces Magazine. Los datos de seguimiento de vuelos y las transmisiones de radio publicadas en las redes sociales mostraban a los B-52 dirigiéndose a dicho atolón hace unos días, mientras que las imágenes de satélite publicadas por observadores de aviones parecían mostrar a los bombarderos en la rampa cerca de los B-2 que llegaron allí a finales de marzo y habían participado en ataques aéreos contra los rebeldes hutíes en Yemen. El Comando de Ataque Global de la Fuerza Aérea del país estadounidense no quiso hacer comentarios sobre la ubicación de las aeronaves. En un comunicado, el ente explicó que lleva a cabo operaciones globales de forma rutinaria en coordinación con otros mandos de combate, servicios y agencias gubernamentales estadounidenses participantes para disuadir, detectar y, si es necesario, derrotar ataques estratégicos contra Estados Unidos y sus aliados. Dice que para preservar la seguridad operativa no discuten detalles sobre ejercicios u operaciones. Pendientes de Estados Unidos, volvemos a escuchar a su presidente, volvemos a escuchar a Donald Trump. No descarta un acuerdo con China. Escuchamos al presidente de Estados Unidos.
Really something special. The Prime Minister was on the phone and the whole thing. It was really great. And now they're negotiating various other very big, strong trade deals. Nobody thought it would be possible, Claudia. Look at our great Congresswoman over there. Nobody thought it would be possible. Look at, wow, we have senators. We have the whole ball game here, huh? Hi, Johnny. So with that, I'll thank everybody for being here. This is a special building, a very, very special place. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world. No matter where you go, they come in, they say, wow, this is something. And I want to give a very big welcome to the White House and all of the people that come here and they love this place, but most importantly to the military moms, by far the most important, right, JD? It's still a few days early, but let me be the first to wish everybody a very happy Mother's Day. It's going to be a great Mother's Day, and very happy. I had a great mother. I had a mother. She was such an angel. She could be very tough, I will say, but she had her tough moments, some difficult moments she had, Pam, but overall, very, very good. I will tell you, I had a great one. I especially want to thank one of the best moms that I know that I've ever seen. Sometimes she's almost too good. She is so good with Barron, but he's grown up strong and nice, and he's a good boy. He's a good student. So I want to thank you. You've done a great job. Thank you, honey. Great First Lady. And thanks as well to Marine veteran Vice President J.D. Vance and to Second Lady Usha Vance, a mother of 3 young children. And we know that they're going to do very well in school because they were the 2 top students at Yale Law School. So genetically, they should be in good shape, right? They're not going to say, gee, Mom, I can't figure this out. But also with us is Attorney General, special person, by the way, Pam Bondi. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pam. And Secretary Hegseth's wonderful wife, Jennifer. Jennifer? Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dan. And Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. Hey, she's become a star. Where's Caroline? Look at her. I don't know, that face. She's become a big star. Don't ever leave us, you know? Don't ever leave us. Thank you also to Senator Joni Ernst, a very good person, friend of mine. Thank you very much. Very military person, too. Great representative of the military, and also Representatives Claudia Tenney and Marionette Miller Meeks, and you are right here. Where are you? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Claudia. All of our American service members are heroes, and our military mothers are doubly so. It's really doubly so what you have to go through. You make them great. You really do. You make people great. Each of the women here today has made extraordinary sacrifices for family and country. You've endured time away from your children. You've endured time away from everything. You've missed birthdays and holidays. You've missed so much, but you wouldn't trade it for the world. I know that. You wouldn't trade it for the world. As for spouses of our service members, we're never forgetting the burdens that you bear when your loved ones are deployed and the sacrifices you have to go through. As military moms, you make these sacrifices in your families so that all of our families can be safe and be free. Our country is strong and respected because you choose to live the life of service, and you have done that. Incredible people. As your Commander-in-Chief, let me take this opportunity to salute you and to thank you on behalf of every single American. Every single one respects you and loves you. Thank you. And represented in this room are the nation's finest Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force. I love Space Force, you know. I have a special little feeling for Space Force. When I did it, they said, "You're kidding." And now we're #1 in space by a lot. We were getting decimated in space, but now we're #1 by a lot. I was very proud of that. First time in 78 years that we had a new force, Coast Guard and Marines. I especially want to thank those of you who support the First Lady and me every day, including the military and social aides here and in the White House. Incredible support. In this room are crew members of Air Force One, said to be the best pilots in the world. I don't know. Where are you? Raise your hands. I want to get ready. We're going to take a little trip this weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Said to be the best. You better be the best because I'm traveling with you. Nurses from the White House Medical Unit, musicians from our great military bands. They do such beautiful work. When we have dignitaries, they come around. They're as good as anybody in the world. You can go to the Philharmonic of any place, and they're as good as anybody. And so many others, dedicated and devoted service members. You all do an outstanding job, and you should take tremendous pride in what you're doing and what you do. I'm pleased to report that since November, enlistment numbers for every branch of the armed forces has surged to the highest levels in 48 years. Can you imagine? Now, I do want to say that during the campaign, I used it all the time because it was good to use. I use whatever I have to do to win. You don't mind, do you? But I used it all the time. Your numbers were so bad. It was so embarrassing. Nobody was signing up. Nobody wanted to go in the armed forces. Nobody wanted to be a policeman. Now, just a short time later, that was in June, July, and then we started surging and they started getting better and better, right, JD? But once November 5th took place, they had numbers signing up like we've never seen before, probably, maybe ever. But they say the minimum, you know, you're talking 30, 40 years. Nobody wanted to sign up. They weren't proud of our country. Now they're so proud of our country that we have the highest. We've attained the highest levels, I think, ever. And the police forces, too. And the firefighters, I never forget the firefighters. They're all doing great because people now love our country and they're proud of our country again. And it's only been really 3 months. It's not that bad, right? Right, honey? I think maybe they're like our First Lady and our incredible Usha, Second Lady. I always have a hard time saying Second Lady. I'm not sure is that a compliment or not. I say, JD, do you like me calling her the Second Lady? I don't know. That's the way it's been. She is a great person, great person. We used to have shortages. Now we have waiting lists because of all of this great spirit that's really devolved. It's been incredible. So as we celebrate military mothers today, we look forward to an incredible future for the United States Armed Forces and for our country itself, and for those great service members and for all of you who love them so much. And now it's my pleasure to introduce that very special woman that I talked about, our great First Lady, and she's loved by all. I just walked by the Rose Garden, and that is the most beautiful thing. We saw it yesterday. You know, she took a lot of heat. She did it. It was so gorgeous, and these people couldn't do that if they tried. And those flowers were blooming. I said, how the hell, two weeks ago, this is like beautiful green, but it was not, and now it just happens so quickly. But you did some job. Thank you very much, honey. Come on up.
It's okay. No worries. Welcome. And thank you very much for your kind words. Motherhood. The life-changing event that makes women invincible and exposed at the same time. It's remarkable, really.
Atentos a esta señal, pendientes de las palabras del presidente de Estados Unidos, que no descarta un acuerdo con China en un momento en el que la mirada se dirige hacia Moscú, hacia la Plaza Roja, el desfile del Día de la Victoria, que comenzará mañana y que hoy ha tenido varias reuniones, por ejemplo, con el presidente ruso Vladimir Putin y su homólogo chino Xi Jinping, que están convencidos de que el conflicto en Ucrania solo puede resolverse eliminando sus causas de raíz, es lo que afirma el Kremlin en una declaración conjunta difundida este jueves. Vladimir Putin habla de que las relaciones entre China y Rusia están en su máximo nivel. Escuchamos.
Nuestra hermandad es la base para el desarrollo de las relaciones entre Rusia y China. Estas relaciones han alcanzado el nivel más alto en toda la historia y no dependen de factores políticos o el contexto mundial. La colaboración estratégica global entre Rusia y China se basa en unos principios de equidad, apoyo mutuo y unas relaciones de fraternidad entre ambos países.
Durante estas conversaciones en Moscú, Putin ha agradecido a Xi por unirse a las celebraciones con motivo del 80 aniversario de la sagrada victoria sobre Hitler en la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Escuchaban a Xi Jinping en un momento en el que Rusia y China han condenado este jueves en una declaración conjunta la política de doble contención de Estados Unidos y la expansión de bloques militares, en particular de la OTAN en la región de Asia-Pacífico. Las partes tienen la intención de ampliar la cooperación y reforzar la coordinación con el fin de contrarrestar con firmeza la política de Washington de doble contención de Rusia y China. Este documento, en el que también se critican las aspiraciones de Occidente a mantener su hegemonía, fue firmado por los presidentes ruso Vladimir Putin y el chino Xi Jinping, después de mantener negociaciones en el Kremlin. Más de 7 horas de conversaciones entre Vladimir Putin y Xi Jinping. El propio Putin, el presidente ruso, dice que las relaciones con China no son contra nadie.
Во благо народов обеих стран и не против кого бы то ни было. Наши отношения носят равноправный, взаимовыгодный и неконъюнктурный характер. Намерение выстраивать добрососедство, укреплять дружбу и расширять сотрудничество – это основанный на...
También les contamos que las Fuerzas Armadas de Ucrania llevaron a cabo este jueves 2 intentos de cruzar la frontera estatal rusa en la provincia de Kursk, es lo que informa el Ministerio de Defensa ruso. A pesar del anuncio de alto el fuego, las Fuerzas Armadas de Ucrania no han cesado sus operaciones militares contra las tropas rusas. Llevaron a cabo 2 intentos de romper la frontera estatal de la Federación Rusa en la provincia de Kursk, así como un ataque en la zona de asentamiento de Cherchinsk, en la República Popular de Donetsk. Es lo que reza el comunicado. A lo largo de toda la línea de contacto de combate, las unidades ucranianas lanzaron 173 ataques con artillería de cañón, tanques y morteros contra posiciones de sus tropas, así como 4 utilizando sistemas de lanzamiento múltiple de cohetes. Además, se llevaron a cabo 300 ataques y lanzamientos de municiones desde vehículos aéreos no tripulados. En total, se registraron 488 violaciones del alto el fuego por parte de Kiev. Mientras tanto, su presidente Volodymyr Zelensky también habla sobre este gran desfile del Día de la Victoria. Lo califica como el desfile del miedo. En un discurso grabado en vídeo mientras caminaba por Kiev, Zelensky ha comparado los acontecimientos en la capital ucraniana antes del 80 aniversario de la derrota de la Alemania nazi, con las columnas de tanques y los bloques de asesinos marchando, que dice se exhiben en Moscú. Sus comentarios del jueves siguieron a su discurso nocturno, en el que se refería a los drones que han atacado Moscú y Rusia y otras partes, diciendo que es totalmente justo que los cielos rusos no estén en calma. Pendientes precisamente del presidente ruso, de la tensión en Ucrania, del día del desfile, del Día de la Victoria, vamos a conectar con el Kremlin. Está Vladimir Putin, el presidente ruso, recibiendo a los líderes mundiales, más de 20 líderes mundiales. Conectamos con el Kremlin.
18:45 de la tarde, 7 menos cuarto, empezamos especial informativo alrededor de lo que vamos a ver en breve, que es el Habemus Papam, el nombre del nuevo Papa, del nuevo pontífice, votado en la cuarta votación alrededor de lo que vamos a empezar a ver, porque hay mucho que descifrar. Vamos a ver si podemos ver en la pantalla la imagen del Vaticano para intentar empezar a ver alrededor de ya no la chimenea, sino el balcón principal, la fotografía que vamos a empezar a ver en breve, que es la figura del nuevo Papa. Ahí tienen la plaza de San Pedro, donde ahí está el balcón que en breve vamos a ver, en breve vamos a ver dónde aparece el nuevo pontífice. Está previsto que sea para las 19:15, aquí horario de Madrid, es decir, para las 7:15. Vamos a ver, hemos hablado mucho durante los últimos días alrededor de la posibilidad de varios nombres. Piazzabella, italiano pero patriarca de la Iglesia Católica en Jerusalén. Parolin, italiano e italiano. Es decir, sería la mayor vuelta otra vez de la periferia a Roma. Y Tagle. Esos tres nombres están encima de la mesa. Esos tres nombres están ahora mismo y son la mirada principal de un concilio muy breve. Para que se hagan una idea, Francisco tuvo 5 votaciones para ser elegido, por lo que ha conseguido el nuevo pontífice ser elegido con mayor unanimidad, con mayor prontitud que el Papa Francisco, lo que nos va dando una idea alrededor de cómo el quórum, la cercanía alrededor del nuevo Papa, alrededor del nuevo pontificado, va a tener un apoyo importante. Sabemos que tiene más de 2/3, eso parece evidente, y a partir de ahí incluso, como decía, hasta la geopolítica empieza a jugar alrededor de lo que puede suceder cuando conozcamos. Fíjense cómo ya se va agolpando el público, los fieles alrededor de la plaza de San Pedro, porque ahí donde ven en la imagen, donde